Hi everybody, I'm Tara, the Playful Vegan, and welcome to my kitchen. I do normally spend a lot of time here playing, more so these days because of the lockdown. I hope that everyone is keeping well and healthy and positive during these very unprecedented, insane, might seem sometimes, times. And yeah, I just wanted to show you how to make, it's a very quick and easy dish that happens to be completely delicious. It's plant-based. I find that cooking in these times is a really beautiful form of self-care. It's a way to stay healthy, it's a way to stay connected to the body, and I especially am passionate about making food, plant-based food, that where each ingredient adds some value to the body. So for now we are focusing on boosting the immune system for obvious reasons. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm using in this dish lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. Lemons are very high in vitamin C, more than oranges in fact. And they're a natural antioxidant and also have antibacterial and antiviral properties. So that's an excellent ingredient to include in your food, even just to have hot lemon with water every day. Another thing is oranges, also high in vitamin C, and almonds. I'm going to be using some almond powder or ground almonds, which has vitamin E. It's a fat-soluble vitamin, and that is actually just as crucial as vitamin C in keeping the immune system strong and healthy. So it's a very simple recipe. I'll just point out the ingredients. So the dry ingredients are buckwheat flour. This is a really great alternative to normal wheat flour. It's gluten-free naturally. There's also coconut, desiccated coconut or coconut powder. I actually just took coconut flakes and I just put them in the Nutri-Bullet because I normally just have coconut flakes on hand. And then it just becomes a powder very quickly. So if you just have flakes, don't worry about it. You can make the powder. Then there's some almond powder, which can be made very simply by grinding whole almonds. You can either use blanched or with the skin on in a food processor with the S blade, and it becomes powder very quickly. You don't have to do anything fancy with it. And then I've got some, it says in the recipe, almond milk, but I just made some cashew milk earlier, so I'm just using some of my homemade cashew milk. Any other nut milk is fine, even coconut milk. And then there's some real maple syrup and some fresh squeezed lemon juice and some orange zest that I've just made, that I've just grated. And then there is some vanilla extract as well. All really good ingredients, really healthy, high quality, and they will all add some benefit to or have some benefit to the body. So I'm basically just quickly, let me just get a spoon. I am quickly just stirring together the dry ingredients. So that's the buckwheat flour, the coconuts, desiccated coconut, and the almond powder. And you're basically just stirring that. If there's lumps, just need to flatten those out. Yeah, another thing about cooking for me is it just keeps, it's actually a very creative process. A lot of people don't see it as that. They see it as a chore, which I completely understand, because often it's just something, you know, that people feel they have to do, feed their kids, all of that. This is also a really nice recipe if you want to get your kids involved. I know a lot of you have kids at home, you need to keep occupied, so it would be a great fun thing for them to help you with as well. Okay, and basically you can make a well in this and then add the wet ingredients, but you don't really have to. You basically just need to combine the wet ingredients. So I'm just going to add the cashew milk, the maple syrup. Definitely need to use a spatula, using every single bit of that. So good. and then this beautiful lemon juice with orange zest. With oranges as well, if you don't get them organic, which often is the case because that's, yeah, it's only ready in season, then just give them a wash I use some orange wonder gel. I don't know if you've heard of it, it's really awesome. You can get it on Faithful to Nature or other health shops, and it's completely natural. It's actually made out of oranges, and you can use that to wash the pesticides off your fruits and vegetables with some water. So I was actually cleaning the oranges with orange gel, which is kind of funny. And the vanilla extract, I love vanilla extract. Always add a little bit more than I have to. And I'm just whisking that together, pouring that in the center. But like I said, you don't have to make it well. And just stirring to combine really well. You can see how simple it is, and I wish you were here so you could smell this. I hope that some of you are making this at home. It's just got this like sweet, citrusy, vanilla, divine smell that makes you want to eat it. Like eat the dough. It actually doesn't look like it's much. It makes around 8. And once it's well combined, my hands are clean. You want to just take, so it's preferably a tablespoon measuring spoon. The dome shape is really helpful, but honestly, if you don't have this, then don't worry about it. You can actually just shape them into kind of little domes as you put them on. So I'm just like putting just over a tablespoon, taking it with my hands, and then just forming these kind of dome-shaped blobs on a piece of baking paper. Just make sure it's not wax paper. I did have a student use wax paper instead of baking paper the other day. Wax paper is not for baking, but it's definitely a mistake that some people make, and I myself have bought wax paper to use as baking paper before. And then you just keep doing that until you get to 8. And then once that's done, you'll just be putting them in the oven on 180 for around 13 minutes. You want it to be a little bit brown at the bottom, so you can take it out at the maybe 12-minute mark and check if they're done. I will show you what they look like when they come out, and then there'll be a final step before we eat these beauties. Okay, so I've just taken these out of the oven. So this oven is actually a bit stronger than what I'm used to. I've just moved here, so these ones are pretty brown. This is probably the furthest you can push them. And sometimes it is nice to have that like more of a toasted taste. But yeah, you'll probably want them a little bit less brown. They should be just like a golden brown. So just like I said, check at the 11 or 12-minute mark. You might see some doggies behind me. I've got a couple of doggies. And what I've done is I've just melted some 85% Lindt, dark Lindt chocolate. I think 1.5 to 2 blocks should do for this. Just in a pan. You can also microwave it. So I think between 70 to 85% dark will work well. And if you like the darker chocolate, then definitely use that. So what you want to do once these have cooled a bit is just rub them into the chocolate. This is so delicious. While they're cooking, while they're baking, it just smells so good. It's just this like citrusy, vanilla-y smell that comes out of the oven. And to be honest, like you can The recipe says wait for them to cool before you eat them, but I like to eat them warm as well. They're kind of like these coconut cookies. And what you can do as well is, once they've cooled, if you have the patience, if you haven't started devouring them yet, you can also sprinkle a bit of zest on these. And there you go. These are the zesty coconut chocolate dipped macaroons. Absolutely delicious. You can also drizzle a bit of chocolate over here if you like to decorate. But yeah, I think these are perfect as they are. And yeah, thank you for joining me for this food vibrations session with Soul.